What's going on, my Central Unit? It's your friendly neighborhood sentiment here, so back again with another classic Royal Rumble pay-per-view review. Last time I reviewed the 1994 edition of the Royal Rumble, known for not having one but two winners of that year's Royal Rumble match. It got me thinking, let's travel 10 years after the 1994 Royal Rumble to the year of 2004 in the Ruthless Aggression era to review, I don't know, the 2004 Royal Rumble. So this show was at the Wachovia Center. Right now it's called the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. By the way, this is in ECW territory. On the 25th of January 2004, the attendance of the show was 17,289. Royal Rumble 2004 received about 282,000 pay-per-view buys, downgrading the previous year's Rumble show from 2003, a show I reviewed last year on this channel. Go and check it out, by the way. That show received about 285,000 pay-per-view buys. The 04 edition, like I said, 282,000 pay-per-view buys. Yeah, it was a good buy rate for both Rumbles shows. Like the 03 edition, the 04 Rumble is also a double-branded Royal Rumble show ever since they started the first brand split in 2002. The commentators for the 2004 Royal Rumble. For Raw, we got JR and the King with the coach on commentary. For the opener, I'll get to the opener shortly. For SmackDown, we got Michael Cole and Taz. So this show is notable for three things. One, this is the 17th edition of the Royal Rumble. Two, you got a last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship, ended in a crappy count out finish. And three, this show is known for being the forgotten Royal Rumble show in history, with the forgotten Royal Rumble match, because you know who won that year's Rumble match. I'll get to the last man standing match and the Rumble match later on in this review. Quick result on Heat before the show. Victoria with Stevie Richards in the corner defeated Molly Holly. This is a non-title match, by the way. I think they set up their match at WrestleMania 20 in March. I'll get to WrestleMania 20 because that match was known for the title versus hair match. Yeah, I'll get to Mania 20 in March because this year marks the 20th anniversary of WrestleMania 20 because it was at MSG. Anyway, so the first match that kicked off the 2004 Royal Rumble, first of four championship matches on the show. This is for the World Tag Team Championships. Ric Flair and Batista of Evolution defending the belts against the Dudleys in a tables match. Flair and Batista won the tag team titles in Armageddon the previous month in a tag team turmoil match. Since then, Flair and Batista got the numbers of Dudleys. They beat the Dudleys in a rematch on the first Raw of 2004. The build up to this, you had Flair and, really screwed the Dudleys, in a match. Flair was a special guest referee. The Dudleys fought like local jobbers. And like I said, they won the rematch for the World Tag Team titles. World Tag Team titles are the tag team belts on Raw. This revolved around tables and revolved around the coach. On the go home Raw before the Royal Rumble, the coach put through the table by the Dudleys with the 3D. That's why the coach is on commentary for this opener. This match was okay. By the way, before I get to this match, there's no ugly matches and bad matches on this show. I'm going to explain it when I get to the end of my overall rating of this show. Yeah, there's no bad matches, no matches that could really be, oh, this is shit. They're just kind of there. I'll explain again when I get to my overall thoughts of this show in the end. Anyway, so this match was okay. Wasn't terrible, but it's not going to be like an instant classic, Tables matches in wrestling, they could be hit or miss. This is slightly a miss. Before the start of the match, Batista, grabbed the mic, says to the Dudleys, "You're the biggest losers than the Philadelphia Eagles." I don't know if they were part of the Super Bowl at the time, in the playoffs to get into that year's Super Bowl. I'm not too sure. Write down in the comment section below. But, the Dudleys got pissed off, left, get out of the ring, and start brawling with Flair and Batista to kick off the match, Yeah, it's just a cheap heat, Batista saying you're the biggest losers in the Philadelphia Eagles, even though, Bubba Ray and Devon used to wrestle in ECW. Even though like Bubba Ray and Devon are from New York City, it's what it is. Anyway, yeah, it was an okay match. I think the coach took the bullet. Trying to defend Ric Flair and Batista. Because at that time the coach was an on-air personality on WWE programming. One more of the match, the Dudleys going for the what's up onto the coach, but Ric Flair stopped them. In the end, Batista hit I think it wasn't a choke, it looks like a choke slam. It looks like a choke slam Devon, but I don't think I call it a spine buster. It was some kind of passing slam onto Devon, put him through the table, and Ric Flair and Batista won this match, retained the World Tag Team titles. And then the coachman, or the coach, the coachman. I found God they never called him the coachman, but Jonathan Coachman, he was out of breath, he's shirtless, and he was fucking fat, man. Jonathan Coachman in that time period, so he was out of breath, wearing the neck brace, announcing that Flair and Batista won this T-Buzz match and retained the World Tag Team titles. And he interviewed Ric Flair afterwards, Flair, saying we're Evolution Forever or Evolution for Life. Not on the same level as the Tear in My Eye promo from the 1992 edition of the Royal Rumble when he won that year's Rumble match for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. So, yeah, it was an okay match. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't great. It didn't really go in its second gear. It was feel like a Raw TV match than a pay-per-view match. At the time you spend a lot of money. By the way, this is in the pre-network era, because the network is only 10 years away. Anyway, so move on to the next match. This is the second of 4 championship matches on the show, and this one's for the Cruiserweight Championship. Rey Mysterio defending the Cruiserweight Championship against JB Noble with his freshly squeezed Nidia in the corner. This revolves around Blind Nidia, because this is a storyline leading up in October. Nidia got sprayed by the Black Mist by Tajiri, and as a result, she's blind. She lost her sight, because at the time Nidia and Noble were a couple on screen, because they're doing the whole trailer park couple, the rich, Nidia was wearing a black fur coat, she was wearing a tank top and Daisy Dukes. The leading up to this, Noble using Nidia as a shield, putting her in harm's way in his matches leading up to this match on the show. Even though Nidia was being blind for 3 months, she got blinded in October, and this match is in January. Anyway, the match was okay, similar to the opener. It was just barely getting in the second gear. The Cruiserweight title was still hot at the time. This is before the X Division was the talk of the town. This was years later, but it's still around the X Division. It's still good, but I'm just saying the X, I feel like the X Division on SmackDown was number 1, and then suddenly the X Division, knocked the Cruiserweight division off its perch in 2005. Anyway, it was okay. Both styles are different, because Rey's Lucha Libre, he's a high flyer. Noble is the Matt Ground technical guy. It was short. It didn't really go in a second gear. One more of the match, every time Rey was trying to do a high flying move, Noble stopped him. One more of the match, Rey was going for a springboard crossbody. Noble counted into a gutbuster. In the end, Nidia accidentally tripped up Noble. Rey hit the 619, not the West Coast pop. He hit a springboard guillotine off the top ropes to win this match and retain the Cruiserweight Championship. Noble got pissed off at Nidia, shouted at her, and this was the beginning of the end of the JB Noble Nidia on-screen relationship, because Nidia ended up regaining her eyesight, my apologies, and this has set up a match between both Noble and Nidia at No Way Out the following month. So it was the beginning of the end, but things cannot, they cannot be a couple forever, even though it's on screen. But like just a recap, it's set up, Nydia regained her eyesight back, and it set up Noble Nydia at No Way Out, the SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view the following month in February of that year. Anyway, so let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is the only non-title match on this show. Like I said, you get the 4 championship matches plus the Rumble match. This is battle between 2 siblings, a uncle and a nephew. We got Eddie Guerrero taking on Chavo Guerrero Jr. with Chavo Sr., that is Chavo's dad and also Eddie's older brother, in the corner of Chavo Guerrero. Eddie had a good summer, he won the United States Championship at Vengeance, a show review in the past, or last year on this show. Also, it's typical stuff I do, plug in shows I reviewed in the past, go and check it out. So anyway, so Eddie won the United States title at Vengeance, and then later in the summer, him and his nephew Chavo won the WWE Tag Team Championship on SmackDown against World's Greatest Tag Team. Eddie's on Cloud 9. Sorry, I'm speaking too fast, by the way. My throat's a bit dry. Eddie's on Cloud 9. He's the United States Champion and one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions with his nephew Chavo. And suddenly, fast forward to autumn of 2003, Chavo lost the United States title and the tag team titles. He lost the United States Championship against the Big Show at No Mercy. Then later in October, him and Chavo lost the WWE Tag Team Championships against the Bashams. And then they had the rematch for the belts in November. This was after Survivor Series, I think. Chavo got pissed off. The Bashams attacking Eddie afterwards. Pulling him in a. It wasn't the lasso from lasso from El Paso. That's Eddie's finisher. It looked like a double Boston leg crab. And then afterwards, Chavo snapped, attacked his nephew, or his uncle Eddie. And this introduced Chavo Senior, aka Chavo Classic. Like I said, Chavo Sr. is Chavo's dad, Eddie's older brother, and Eddie refused to fight his nephew Chavo. This is the first match they had since their rivalry in WCW in 1998, with a different story, because in their rivalry in 1998, Eddie treated Chavo like shit, and then fast forward 6 years later, you can tell Chavo trying to get out the shadow of Eddie Guerrero, his uncle Eddie. Even though Eddie's been a mid-card champion, he was I think he was United States champion, he was Intercontinental champion also, and plus the United States champion. This is before he was the world champion. We'll get to that shortly. You could tell, you could say he was underneath Eddie's shadow. So yeah, Eddie refused to fight his nephew Chavo. Anyway, so this match was okay, just okay. I was watching it twice or 2 or 3 times days before I'm preparing to review the show and make this review of the show. I give 3 stars, but reality 2. Okay match. Like the other 2 matches, the tables match and Ray versus Noble. It didn't get out its second gear. It didn't get out. It just basically just it was a technical style. Both did mat style, technical style, but it was a bit mediocre. The story was good. Eddie's refused to fight his nephew Chavo. Chavo's trying to egg him on and slapping Eddie. One more of the match. Chavo did the Eddie's taunt, and Eddie gave Chavo the middle finger. And Eddie refused to try. He's trying to punch Chavo, but he's refused. That was really again. That was the player onto the story. But besides that, it's basically sizzle but no steak. I think people. I'm not saying a knock-down brawl, but I think it should be a back and forth. But we didn't got it. We got a little bit, but it's just it was short. It was 8 minutes long, but it felt I don't know. Something's off, man. It's off. Anyway, Chavo Cena did get involved, tripping Eddie off the ring apron. Eddie at the steel stairs. Didn't bleed. He didn't got. There was no blade jobs, by the way. But anyway, Chavo got the victory. Not Chavo. Eddie got the victory. Hit Chavo with the frog splash for the win. After this match, Eddie tied up Chavo Senior or Chavo Classic. He kind of tied his tie onto the bottom rope, and Eddie beat the piss out of Chavo Guerrero. Beat Chavo Jr. Beating him in a bloody pope. And I think Chavo Senior. This is confusing because both got the same name. Anyway, so Chavo Senior says, "What do you make me do?" or "What do you think you're doing?" Something like that. He said that's your kid. Even though they're both, because Eddie and Chavo are uncle and nephew, but it's just what it is. But very dark for Eddie. You don't really see this segment or this clip when they did Eddie's tribute video clip. When Eddie passed away the following year. Look at him beating his piss out of his nephew. But this is something like heels would do. I don't think Chavo don't really need to win this match because this is Eddie's first pay-per-view match for a while because people win for a while because he lost in my knowledge, he just lost the United States title to the Big Show in No Mercy in October, and then him and Chavo lost the WWE Tag Team Championship against the Bashams in November. So Eddie getting the victory was good because it got me thinking Eddie's going to be in that main event picture, winning his first and only world title the following month. I know No Way Out in February. He's going to be that world champion main event play on SmackDown over the horizon. I think Eddie winning was the right direction. I don't think Chavo will win this. Chavo. No disrespect for Chavo, man. If Chavo wins, what's that going to do? Because, spoiler alert, Chavo went on to win the Cruiserweight title on that same show that Eddie wins the WWE Championship. So, they kind of back themselves to the corner, but, they're building Eddie to be being that next main event guy on SmackDown. But, the match between Eddie and Chavo, is a bit off the story. So moving on to the next match. This is the third of 4 championship matches on the show, and this is for the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defending the belt against Hardcore Holly. How we get there? So it started in 2002. I think it was in September of that year. It was on SmackDown. Brock Lesnar taking on Hardcore Holly. In that match, Brock Lesnar broke the neck of Hardcore Holly. It was a botched power bomb. And then afterwards, Hardcore Holly ended up wrestling for weeks until he took some time off to repair his injured neck. He came back the following year, a great example, I reviewed Survivor Series 2003. In the Team Lesnar, Team Angle match, you had, Holly attacked Lesnar before the match, got himself disqualified, and leading up to the WWE Championship match on this show. Anyway, this match... Some people really bash this match, but for me, is it a good match? No. Is it a terrible match? Not really. It was an okay match, like the Last Man Standing match. We'll get to that later on, but this should be a knockdown brawl between Lesnar and Hardcore Holly. This match is revolved around taking amateur wrestling style, locking in rest holds and full Nelson. That was a bit disappointed. And Holly was an idiot, one more of the match, he hit Lesnar with the Alabama Slam. Instead of pinning Lesnar, he's locking Lesnar with the full Nelson lock. The tumbling outside the ring, Holly still locking the hold, and at the same time, Brock tapped out. I'll get to that a bit shortly. So in the end, Brock hit the F5 onto Holly. Win this match, retain the WWE Championship, and the funny part, the referee, I think Earl Hebner trying to raise Brock's arm, he had none of it, in the nature of a heel wrestler or an anti-hero wrestler, they don't like to get their arms raised in victory. So anyway, this match, like I said, it's slightly sucked, but it totally, really, I think like it totally gets the story because I don't want to. Yeah, Holly winning the title will be a bad decision. I don't think Holly's not really championship material, but I think people want to see Hardcore Holly beating Brock, and this should be a knockdown brawl. I think it should have made it into a hardcore match. If they just did a hardcore match and a little bit of the technical style amateur wrestling match, all in one, the best of both worlds, I think it'll flow better. But it was just like, I think slight momentum of Holly has, ever since he injured his neck by Lesnar and came back, all gone. Like I said, I don't want to. Yeah, Holly winning the belt would be a bad idea. I don't want to see Holly win the title, but I think he should have really got his revenge onto Brock. But besides that, it was an okay match. Holly got his offense, Lesnar got his offense. I feel like this is a SmackDown match, not a pay-per-view worthy match. And afterwards, I'll get to the segment. Afterwards, him and Goldberg, they haven't socialized since Survivor Series. Like Goldberg is about to talk about what he's going to do in the Rumble match. Lesnar got pissed off. You should be interviewing me. Last time you interrupt my interview, you were a champion. And then Goldberg says, Goldberg says, I'm going to win the Rumble. I'm going to destroy everyone in the Rumble match. That's right. Hardcore Holly and Brock has just slightly turned his shoulder around. Look, you thought Hardcore Holly's behind him. It just made Lesnar completely weak. And also he tapped out in that match, while they're both outside of the ring. We're months away. We're months away of Lesnar piecing out of the company. But, it's just like, wow. Brock Lesnar has fallen for grace, So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is a last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Shawn Michaels. It's the resuming of the rivalry. It started in 2002. If you don't know the story, I'm going to revive it. So Triple H and Shawn, they're part of the Clique, the part of D-Generation X. Shawn retired in 1998 due to his back. So Triple H picked up the pieces, rebuild DX, and then fast forward 4 years later, Shawn came back, part of the NWO. At this moment on Raw, I think it was the Raw after Vengeance, the teasing like the part of DX, but instead Triple H turned on Shawn, and that's kicked off the rivalry. It started SummerSlam 2002 in the non-censor match. Shawn won. Triple H, injured Shawn afterwards, re-injured his back in kayfabe. Because at the time, Shawn was kind of like wrestling in a part-time schedule. So, it ran off Shawn Michaels, but he came back months later to win against Triple H. He became the first winner of the first Elimination Chamber match at Survivor Series in November. Then Triple H regained the world title back the following month at Armageddon in the 3 Stages of Hell match. In 2003, they didn't really interrupt. They didn't really interact. They did interact briefly. I think it was a 6-man tag team match at Backlash. And then they fought in the second Elimination Chamber match at SummerSlam, but not on a one-on-one basis. So fast forward, I think it was the last Royal 03 or the first Royal 04. They had the a match on Raw. It was in Shawn Michaels' hometown of San Antonio. You thought Shawn beat Triple H to win the world title again for the second time. Unfortunately, it was overruled by Bischoff because both guys' shoulders are on the mat. So I think Austin made it into his last man standing match. Because at the time the whole sheriff thing. I'll get to that later on with another segment. This match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. This was good. This is the second best match of the night. It's just, I'll get, like I said, I'll get to my overall thoughts of the show at the end. But this was good. The beating the piss, the stuff with Triple H and Shawn Michaels on this show in this match, that should be less than Holly. But anyway, the match was good. Triple H going for the back of Shawn Michaels, Shawn Michaels going for the leg of Triple H, because both guys had previous injuries. Shawn had the career-ended back injury, Triple H with the first quad tear. They were fighting on the top of the both announce tables. Shawn did the punch. and suddenly Triple H kind of fall off the announce table. Fans booed because people wanted to see Triple H go through one of the announce tables. He did. No, he did. Actually, I'm lying. One more of the match. Shawn was going for like a crossbody off the top rope. Triple H got out of the way. Shawn crashed through one of the announce tables, and Shawn bled. He bled on the nose, man. And Triple H gets beating on the bloody Shawn Michaels, man. He was fucking bleeding. It's the same level he bled at in the Team Bischoff Team Master match at Survivor Series. Wow, he's bleeding buckets, man. It's very funny. Technically we're 4 years away of WWE banning blood. Anyway, so. And then Triple H bled as well, like Shawn catapult Triple H onto the ring post, whacked him with the chair, and Triple H was bleeding. They really beat the piss out of each other, hitting each other with finishes, Triple H with the pedigree, Shawn with the sweet chin music, and the match, and then a double count-out finish, they didn't get out, Shawn didn't, he was about to trying to get up, but he's out of energy, he's probably passed out because he was bleeding buckets, Yeah, the match ends, and the fans booed. They booed their asses, man. I think people want to see Shawn winning the world title. They kind of backed themselves in the corner. They really backed themselves in the corner because I think for one, they want to see Triple H dropping the belt at WrestleMania. That's one. But two, I think they just want to see Shawn winning the belt because they did this whole thing screwing Shawn off the belt off that Raw in late 2003 or early 2004. No, I think it was late 2000. The last Raw 2003 or the first Raw 2004. It's vice versa. It's one of them. Screwing Shawn in his hometown. I think Shawn wants to beat Triple H. So far in the rivalry on pay-per-view, Shawn won the first match, and then he won the second match. Triple H won the first match, so it's basically 2-2 in this rivalry. It will continue in the throughout the whole 2004. But I think and also the announcers selling it both. Mostly with Triple H, they're selling it like Triple H is killed. They bled. You had members of Evolution. It's just Flair and Batista because everyone was getting ready for the 2004 Rumble match. I think it didn't really affect. It was shitty. But, it was a way to protect them, I understand because Triple H just won the belt at Armageddon. I say it once. I think I said it once. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it more times, It makes no sense to have a guy or girl winning the title of one pay-per-view and end up dropping the belt at the next pay-per-view. Sometimes it makes sense, but it's just... I don't want to get into it. It's just what it is. But besides that, I think it's the second best match of the night. It's not an all-time classic last man standing match, but it was 23 minutes, and there's rumors they cut some of these matches on the show in half, or probably for the last man standing match. But besides that, they beat the piss out of each other. It's not the end of the rivalry, like I said, for SummerSlam 02, Elimination Chamber 2002, Armageddon 2002. I'm talking about the one-on-one matches. Now the fought at Royal Rumble 04. They fight more times in 2004. The part of the triple threat matches at WrestleMania 20 and Backlash. They fought in the Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood, and then the blow-off was at Taboo Tuesday in October. Throughout the rivalry of 2004, they kind of really drag it to the ground. But at the same time, I think Triple H and Shawn Michaels rivalry has got to be one of the best rivalries of the Ruthless Aggression era. And it's personal. Anyway, before we get to the Rumble match itself, there's one segment. It's going to be in the bag when I get to my overall thoughts of the show. After the last man standing match, there was a power clincher. You had Eric Bischoff, the Raw GM, coming down to the ring. He's basically putting himself over, saying Raw is the superior show. Shitting on Paul Heyman, says he's just run shows in a rundown bingo hall. It didn't really drop. He didn't really name drop ECW. He didn't bring up ECW. He's just saying a rundown show in a bingo hall. So I'll call Paul Heyman because he was a heel at the time. Both guys were heel GMs. I think people would cheer for Paul Heyman because, like I said, this is in Philadelphia. This is in ECW territory. Then you had instead of Heyman cut in a promo. You had Heyman attacking Bischoff, out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin. We haven't seen Austin since he was exiled in WWE, ever since the Team Bischoff, Team Austin Survivor Series match at Survivor Series in November. He's now the Sheriff. He said, he said like who started it, blah blah blah. Anyway, Austin hit Bischoff with the stunner. Him and Heyman had beers, and suddenly Austin hit Heyman with the stunner, and that was it. Very random segment, and it's just really shitting on Team Bischoff, Team Austin match, because if Austin lose, he's forced to step down as the Raw GM. He's forced out of the WWE forever, and then he came back at Troop of the Troops, and now he's the Sheriff. It was just like completely shitting on the stipulation. Sometimes with Survivor Series matches, they end up having no stakes. Doing this, Austin came back as the Sheriff. Really shitting on the it's shitting on Austin's send off you never got in Seattle in March of 2003. It's just like makes no sense, and also it's a random segment. Like it's more segment like I reviewed Payback 2016 last year. With the stuff with the McMahons, Vince, Shane, Stephanie, that was just a great example. It didn't really serve a purpose. I say it once, I say it twice, I'm going to say it more times. If you want to save this on weekly TV, because wrestling pay-per-views are the sign of the matches taking center stage. This was just, it got the fans happy because Austin was there, but at the same time, it's so random as fuck. Anyway, so let's move on to the 2004 Royal Rumble, aka the Forgotten Royal Rumble match. The winner faced the WWE All-World Champion at WrestleMania 20. This is match of the night. The first two guys in the Rumble match were Chris Benoit of SmackDown and Randy Orton. At the time, he was the Intercontinental Champion on Raw. This was really good. It was an hour long. It was intriguing. There were a lot of stories. This is better than the 1994's Rumble match. This got more story to it. You got the Randy Orton Mick Foley storyline. The storyline going into this. Austin, the Sheriff. Offered Mick Foley a ticket to watch the show. There was a cut scene of an empty seat, speculating that Mick Foley's going to attend the show. Then Foley entered this Rumble match number 21, I think. This segment with Austin, Tess on the floor, and you got these mysterious guys that go out there, and that guy was Mick Foley. I done my research on why Tess was laid down. I thought, Tess ended up getting hurt. He ended up he kind of re-injured his neck. It's the way I think it was way to rid of Tess out of the storyline. He appeared a few more times in March. I think he appeared one at Raw in March, and then he ended up getting surgery. He ended up taking time off to get surgery, and such. Unfortunately, he ended up getting released of that same year. You won't see Tess again. That was basically the end of Tess's first run in the company. And then you won't see Tess again when he came back in 2006, part of the Extreme Elimination Chamber match of ECW's December 2006, when ECW came back as the third brand. But Foley came in number 21, eliminate Randy Orton with the Cactus Jack clothesline. Choking Orton with the cable wires. And Orton kind of whack Foley with the chair in the face, man. Holy shit, he didn't bled, But they continued fighting, brawling, I think one more of the match, locking Nunzio with the Mandible Claw with Mr. Sacco, This is still a continuation of the Foley Orton feud. It started in June of 2003 when Orton punted Mick Foley in the stairways. It set up the matches at WrestleMania 20 in the 2 out of 3 handicap match, Evolution versus The Rock and Sock Connection, and also the hardcore match or no DQ match at Backlash of 2004. So it's still a continuation of the Mick Foley Randy Orton feud. There was a lot of good stories going into it, and also Kane. He entered this match 7. It's got to be 8 or 9. I can't remember. I forgot to mention another last appearance in the company was Scott Steiner. After when Kane entered this match or entered the ring, he got eliminated by Booker T, and that was the end of Scott Steiner's second run in the company. He had his first one in the early '90s, with his teaming up with his brother Rick. His second run he was Big Papa Pump. He got eliminated in this Rumble match. This is his first Rumble match since 1994. Both of them will be their last Rumble match in their run in their runs in the companies. Starting 94. That was the last time he compete in the Rumble match because he ended up leaving the company later that year. And then fast forward a decade later, he left the company. He got injured and then he got released. He got released in August that year. Had a run in TNA. You won't see Scott Steiner in WWE for another 18 years until he gets inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame with his brother Rick, and that's the reason why Braun Baker has got signed with the company. Go back to Kane, and so I think it's number 8 or 14. I think it's 8, 9, 10. I can't remember. So number 14 came, hits. Did the 5 count, and then suddenly you heard the Undertaker dong. You thought the Undertaker returned at the Royal Rumble, but he didn't. Kane's reaction was he was shocked. We haven't seen The Undertaker since Survivor Series, when Kane buried The Undertaker alive in Taker's match against Vince McMahon at that year's Survivor Series, Kane's reaction is I buried you alive, there's no way. And then he got eliminated by Booker T. He took his frustration out of Spike Dudley. That was good, it set up the Undertaker Kane WrestleMania 14 rematch at WrestleMania 20. Like I said, I'll get to WrestleMania 20 in March. Anyway, you had the one shock to me. You had the one and only pay-per-view appearance of Ernest the Cat Miller. You never thought you were gonna see Ernest Miller in WWE in any capacity. He was there. He let when WCW was out of went out of business, got bought out of the WWE. He debuted with the company in 2002, but he never made any pay-per-view appearances. Probably or Raw and SmackDown appearances. I think it pretty rare. Probably appeared on Heat or Velocity, but it's very rare. You came out with Lamont. They're dancing "Somebody Called My Mama," and that was it. It shocked me because "Somebody Called My Mama" that was Brodus Clay's theme music. It's funny, I thought that was just a random WWE Network dub because the original theme music was copyright. It has to do with copyright issues, but it wasn't. It was before Brodus Clay. But anyway, so he got Lamont and Ernest the Cat Miller got eliminated by Benoit and Owen. Both eliminated six opponents in this Rumble match. The Iron Man is Chris Benoit. I think the MVP, even though Orton had a good, decent performance at the Rumble in this Rumble match, but I give it to Benoit. Anyway, so yeah, it was a lot of good stories. Another good story, you had people try to eliminate the Big Show or making the Big Show tap out. Big Show was tapping out in everybody's submission holds. RVD hitting. RVD hit Big Show with the 5-star frog splash, and then Big Show tapped out with Chris Jericho's Walls of Jericho. He tapped out with Kurt Angle's ankle lock. Angle's if he wins the Rumble, he's dedicated his win to the men and women who's out in Iraq of Afghanistan, because at this time it was this war of Iraq was kicking off. Anyway, so Angle locking the Big Show with the ankle lock, and then the final two, minutes later, you had Benoit locking the crossface onto the Big Show. That was a good sequence, wrestlers making Big Show tapping out. Cena hits Big Show with the 5-knuckle shuffle. And also before, speaking of Cena, the reason why Cena and Benoit is in this Rumble match, because first off, they won a qualifying match weeks prior, but at the same time, they're both on a power struggle in the war against the SmackDown GM Paul Heyman. one segment on the before this. This is a segment on SmackDown before this pay-per-view. This will revolve around Paul Heyman eating a bar of soap. Like you had Cena's holding a bar of soap. Benoit locking the I think it was the sharpshooter onto Heyman. Every time Cena says Chris, Benoit locking the sharpshooter on Heyman. He made Heyman licking and biting the bar of soap. That was kind of funny. You can find on, I think it's on the network, and also you can find on YouTube. Just type in Cena, Benoit, Heyman, bar eating, and you probably find it. That was kind of funny. And also Cena was wearing a jersey. It was it's a baseball team in Philadelphia. I can't remember what was it. The Philadelphia Flyers they're called, and he's paying tribute to a guy called Todd McGraw. I don't really follow baseball, by the way, so he did a promo on this show before this Rumble match. RVD cut him off, and then Cena says, RVD's talking to Mary Jane, Mary Jane, because at the time, this is months before the second Spider-Man film came out. RVD talking to Mary Jane, and he said he can suck my candy cane. Wow, man. You could tell, like, he's getting that Steve Austin treatment. Anyway, so in this match, Cena got hurt, he's about, Big Show kind of pick up Cena, throw him out of the ring. Cena kind of landed awkwardly on his leg. He injured his knee in the process. He was holding his knee, and I said to myself, oh my god, Cena, I thought he dislocated, he kind of landed awkwardly on his leg. I thought, oh my god, I thought he's gonna injured his kneecap. He ended up coming back. He ended up facing Cena. He ended up facing Big Show at WrestleMania 20 for the United States title. But oh my god, like when Cena landed awkwardly, man, that's oh my god, I kind of cringe. That is a cringy moment, man. Cena was fine. He probably likely partially tear his knee, because depending how long. If you're injured like the ligaments in your knee, you could be out for whole of the year or months or nearly a year. But I think he'd be out for a couple of weeks. That is just like, oh my god. That was just seeing Cena like holding his knee, land awkwardly on his leg after Big Show dumped him out of the ring. Oh my god. So anyway, so the final four in this Rumble match are the Big Show, Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, 2 Canadians and 2 Americans. Like I said, they're starting tapping out Big Show. Jericho was Jericho. Kurt Angle with the ankle lock, and then suddenly Big Show kind of managed to like get out of the ankle hold and dump Kurt Angle out of the ring. He got pissed off, and then Benoit did a diving headbutt. He did it in the ring, and when Big Show was leaning on the ropes, he managed to did another one off the top rope. While Big Show was leaning on the ropes onto the ring apron. This time, Big Show, he didn't really got Big Show out. And then he locked him in the triple crossface. Big Show was working like a beast in this match. In the end, Benoit did I think it looks like he kind of grabbed Big Show by the head. Put him in the headlock, and he kind of like tossed him out of the ring off on his head to win this match. Big Show was fine anyway, so it wasn't cringe. I think he was going for Big Show was going for a choke slam, but Benoit carried it. I think it was like a guillotine, and Big Show was like leaning on his head, and Big Show suddenly dumped out of the ring. So Benoit won this match and end up facing the champion of both brand or any brand on both Raw and SmackDown at the time at WrestleMania 20. I'll get to that later on. But anyway, I think for me, Benoit was the Iron Man and the MVP of this Royal Rumble match. He's the first guy to enter the Rumble match number 1, the first time since Shawn Michaels did it in 1995. The next person enter the Royal Rumble and survive the whole lot was Edge in 2021, 17 years later. Anyway, so Benoit won this Rumble match, and he went on to he ended up traded to Raw. challenged Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. You know, they fought in the Triple Threat match. You know, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Chris Benoit at WrestleMania 20. Benoit went on to win the World Heavyweight Championship for the second time. He won the first one in WCW. That was his final match in the company before going to the WWF, bringing Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn with him from the Radicals. You know, I think it was a right decision to push Benoit because he was held down in WCW due to his size. You know, because I think Benoit is about 5'10", 5'11", just under 6 foot. You know. But, yeah, he eliminated the big guys in this match. He eliminated guys like Mark Henry, Matt Morgan, The Big Show, Rhino, Albert, I think. Eliminated the bigger guys, eliminated 6, you know, and survived a lot. That was good, you know. He made Benoit like a giant slayer. He's like, you know, like, it made him like Jack and the Giant Slayer. Not that film was directed by Bryan Singer, who went on to direct the X-Men films, but they made Benoit this giant killer and eliminate just the bigger guys. Like I said, the Mark Henrys, the Big Shows, the Matt Morgans, the Rhinos. I think Albert, or A-Train, he was called at the time. That was good, but unfortunately, look in hindsight, you know, this is known for, like I said, the forgotten the Royal Rumble show and the forgotten Rumble match, because what Chris Benoit did in 2007, you know, with the whole double murder suicide, you know. By the way, his record was great because at the time he survived the longest. At the time it was an hour, I think it was 1 hour 11, and then 2 years later, Ray broke it. No, I think it was an hour 10. Then Ray broke it 2 years later with 1 hour 11. The guy who survived the longest in a Rumble match was Daniel Bryan in the greatest Royal Rumble. But I don't really count that, you know. I think right now Gunther hold the record because Gunther survived the longest in last year's Rumble in 2023. Because of the whole double murder suicide in 2007, you know, he killed, you know, Benoit's wife Nancy, killed his 7-year-old boy Daniel, and then he killed himself, you know. And I'll explain more if I one day review Vengeance Night of Champions, you know, 2007. But there's one channel I'm gonna plug. It's called what's it called? The Conspira series. You know, they cover the Chris Benoit double murder suicide. If you want more information, the link in the description below. So yeah, they kind of like erase Benoit from the history books. You know, when they do their Royal Rumble highlights, you know, 2004 highlight is the last man standing match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Yeah, that was the year of the crappy count-out finish of a decent, good last man standing match. But you know, they're saying it in a blandest way. But I don't want to get into it, you know. I don't want to cover that the double murder suicide, you know. Don't, like Jericho says, we're not going to find out the whole truth, you know. But yeah, this is the forgotten Royal Rumble match for a variety of reasons. You know, I think this was a really good Rumble match. You know, gotta be in the one. Oh, I forgot. In the same Rumble match, you know, Goldberg entered this Rumble match number 30. Eliminated, I think, 3 or 4 opponents in this Rumble match. Lesnar came to the ring, hit Goldberg with the F5, and then he got eliminated. Kurt Angle. By the way, it set up Goldberg, Lesnar at WrestleMania 20, and this was after Goldberg cost Lesnar the WWE Championship when he lost the belt to Eddie Guerrero the following month at No Way Out. Forgot to mention it, by the way, folks. So, my overall rating of the 2004 Royal Rumble is a 5 out of 10. Better than the 1994 installment of the Royal Rumble, but that's not saying too much. Some people call it a one-match show, but for me, I call it a two-match show because of the last man standing match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels instead of the ending. I'm not going to put it in the bad. And the Royal match itself, that was really good, in the top 10 best Rumble matches of all time, because you got set-up matches for that year's WrestleMania, featuring future and current Hall of Famers. Like I said, nothing in the bad, like match type. The only thing I'm putting in the bad is the whole Austin, Bischoff, Heyman segment. It was so random, save it on weekly TV. I get it's a palate cleanser, but it was so random as fuck. The okay is the undercard matches, the tag team title match, the tables match, the cruiserweight title match, Eddie versus Chavo, Lesnar versus Holly. They're not bad matches, but they're not great matches. They feel like matches you probably see on Raw or SmackDown. They're just TV wrestling matches, but they're not really pay-per-view quality matches. I'd rather skip the 2004 Rumble show or just watch the Last Man Standing match and the Rumble match itself. So this is a middle-of-the-road Rumble match overall. So, what is your thoughts on the 2004 Royal Rumble? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time, let's review another classic Royal Rumble show, this time in the Attitude Era, in the year of 1999. In the middle of the Austin-McMahon rivalry, both of them compete in the 1999 Royal Rumble match. Also, on that same show, Mankind, in his first defense as the World Wrestling Federation Champion against The Rock in that infamous I Quit match. Until then, this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.